With the 7 controversial days between Golding, Norman Washington Horne, and Peter Bunting coming to a close this week, it makes you wonder if Norman Washington Horne or Dr. Peter Phillips made a decision in September 2020 to pull the wool over our eyes. Questions have been raised as to whether Norman Washington Horne and Dr. Peter Phillips had hidden agendas. What was their true motive? Was their motive to keep this card in play just in case Lisa Hanna never became the president of the People's National Party? And as it stands, this card was well played, as Lisa Hanna lost the presidential elections of the PNP and Mark Golding became the 6th PNP president. Statements that came out that Dr. Peter Phillips was well aware of Norman Washington Horne's dual citizenship status would have also led others to believe that there are many unanswered questions. Many political experts and even former parliamentarians are calling for the urgency of a series of discussions which would surround dual citizenship in the House of Representatives. Their suggestion is that this should also involve a joint select committee. This follows a motion which was tabled in Parliament in 2010 by Ronald Thwaites. However, this motion was never brought to a fruitful conclusion. The motion that was put on the plate by Thwaites is that members of the lower house and upper houses should declare their citizenship status, and this followed a series of by-elections which was triggered by a court ruling that the Jamaica Labour Party's Darrell Vaz was ineligible to sit in the parliament as a result of his United States citizenship following the 2007 parliamentary elections. This ruling also resulted in 3 other JLP members, Gregory Mayer, Michael Stern, and Shaini Robinson, having to vacate their constituency seats. All 4 of these JLP Member of Parliaments were returned in by-elections after they renounced their foreign citizenship. Currently, the law only allows for persons with Commonwealth citizenship to serve in the House. This matter has been placed on the forefront of the public's mind with the recent Senate saga between Norman Washington Horne, Mark Golding, and Peter Bunting. Norman Horne, who had been nominated by former opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips, and who had publicly declared that he would not be taking the seat in October as a result of an impending presidential elections, is a United States citizen. Horne had not formally written to the Governor General to indicate that he would not accept the appointment. However, this blocked further efforts by current opposition leader Mark Golding to install Peter Bunting in the upper house 2 Fridays ago. On Friday, after the Governor General indicated that Horne would not be taking the seat, Mark Golding advised him that Bunting was his choice. But nearly 10 years after Andrew Holness's chaired Joint Select Committee of Parliament had its initial meeting to discuss citizenship issues to chart a way forward, there has been no fruitful conclusion on the matter. According to Thwaites, he was at a loss in understanding what has happened over the drama of the last fortnight, which has left the People's National Party with a black eye and a bruised ego. He, of course, was happy to be reminded about the committee. Of course, he retired from representational politics earlier this year. He says that as far as he's aware, the motion is still there. When the Parliament prorogued in 2011, I reintroduced it and it fell off the order paper again because successive administrations have failed to deal with the issue. But given what has played out, the issue must be urgently addressed. Senators can only voluntarily resign, as was made clear in a landmark ruling when Horne sought to use pre-signed undated resignation letters in 2013 to remove Arthur Williams and Dr. Christopher Tufton from the upper house, following an unsuccessful JLP leadership challenge by Audley Shaw. This is not Horne's first Senate controversy, as he was pressured to resign in 2016, 2 years after the then JLP senator resigned from the party and declared himself an independent member of the upper house while taking steps to rejoin the People's National Party. In addressing the latest series of sagas and controversies, Twace dismissed Horne's argument about his notification and renunciation attempts. Horne seemed to suggest in his statement that he only applied for renunciation after he was appointed. That can't be true. You could not be appointed until you have cleared that hurdle. But I also seem to remember that before, I believe, the 2011 general elections, all candidates appeared before the party's Integrity Commission and were asked to declare that we were not ineligible because of dual citizenship. He was unsure about the internal requirement for Senate appointees, but said that much more due diligence had to be taken when senators as they were selected. Having gone through all that, how this happened, how also could Peter Phillips have asked Horne to serve until and unless he knew that he had renounced his U.S. citizenship? Either Horne pulled one over on Peter Phillips, or did Peter Phillips choose to pull the wool over the eyes of the Jamaican public? Horne admitted last week that he did not follow through on a promise to Peter Phillips to remedy his citizenship situation. Some comrades have described the citizenship issue as a big sideshow to the deep, dark, and dangerous game that is currently being played in the People's National Party. According to many, it's a power game. Many persons within the PNP feel that they are entitled, and of course, one should never allow them to pull the wool over their eyes, as many are chanting the song of unity and have even pasted it across their foreheads to say that it is their mission. But of course, don't be blindsided. It is all about power. They feel entitled, and of course, many are on a path that is revengeful. This is a power gain, obviously, and they're trying to gain some political leverage. This is a power game and a revenge plot. And many persons have done this for multiple times over the years. Many persons also believe that whilst they seem to want to put things to an halt, for many persons it is a challenge for Mark Golding. Whilst he was recently elected as the 6th PNP president on November 7th, and barely a month has passed, he has a difficult challenge ahead of him. He will never be able to rest peacefully within this political organization. The controversy lies in the fact that many are aware that Rhoda Crawford, who is the current Manchester Central Member of Parliament, once seated Peter Bunting from his constituency as a 4-term MP, got help from Norman Horne to beat Bunting. However, it should be noted that how could Peter Phillips have appointed Horne? Having heard of this occurrence, and also it should be noted that Peter Bunting ran against Peter Phillips, and of course, Mark Golding chose to appoint him as the leader of opposition business. And it should also be noted that he was also appointed the leader of government business at some point. And later, if Phillips would have understood that Horne did what he did in the September 3rd parliamentary elections, how could he have turned around to appoint him to the Senate? It makes you wonder what was happening. What is the motive and what was the agenda? Many persons are placing the blame on Peter Phillips for all of the issues that would have happened across the last 2 months. Timelines provided by Horne in at least 2 statements since the matter became public raised new questions, which included the disclosure that he renewed his United States passport weeks ago. In addressing the committee in 2011, Thwaites had said that among the major points for discussion was the hopeless anomaly that presently exists in the Constitution, whereby members of the Commonwealth, after 1 year of residency here, can be elected or appointed. He also called for members to declare permanent residency status, which is not required under the Constitution. Committee members mulled for a long time over whether the motion was about naming and/or shaming such individuals. He further went on to state that he believes and he agrees that there ought to be a declaration of citizenship. Then a leader of government business and committee chair had said, "My challenge as chairman of this committee is to make sure that this is done in keeping with the law." Minister Chuck had said that he was willing to share some of the blame for the lack of debate on the matter. "It's partially my fault. The truth is, we need to look at it. Every time it's up for discussion, the talk is that we need comprehensive reform. It's something to be dealt with. It should have been dealt with. The Constitution needs changing, and that's fundamental reform." For many, he said, the issue was about whether one was holding a Jamaican passport or not, or whether one should only have a Jamaican passport. "I don't know if we have made that decision yet." Some are also of the view that certain positions, including those in Parliament, must be held by people without conflicting loyalties, or for that matter, conflicting allegiances. The country had to deal with some serious senatorial issues last week. It shows that some persons are not sincere in their efforts to resolve the issues. Former PNP chairman Pickersgill said that Senate choices were sometimes discussed at the cabinet level. While we were in government, the legal advisor was the Attorney General, and that is where the Prime Minister would go first. In terms of politics, people are allowed to make suggestions, and it was the purview of the Prime Minister whether he or she would put the choices before the cabinet as a result of the importance of the matter. Pickersgill served as chairman of the PNP for almost 3 decades. In opposition, it was the same thing. Views would be solicited from members of the executive or even from the National Executive Council. He would not be drawn in offering a view as to whether he thought the current saga was part of a plot to destabilize Mark Golding's plan for the People's National Party. He said that he does not want to be tempted into making a statement in regards to the matter. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. What are your thoughts on this matter? Do you believe that Horne and Dr. Peter Phillips had an agenda or a motive to destabilize the Go with Golding campaign for the current People's National Party to move along to a place of unity and some severance of stability? Was this senatorial appointment just a card to be played if Lisa Hanna never became the president of the People's National Party? And as played out on November 7th, she lost the presidential elections. And of course, Horne and Peter Phillips would have decided that it was time to play their cards. Now, it's totally a controversy in regards to the statements coming out that he assisted Crawford to beat Peter Bunting in the September 3rd parliamentary elections. Now, of course, he was a former senator of the Jamaica Labour Party, and then he became an independent, and then Horne chose to become a senator on the side of the PNP. Now, it makes you wonder, what games are being played? Is this all about power? Is this about revenge and retaliation within the PNP? Now, what is going on? It makes you wonder what will happen and how easy it will be for Mark Golding to be destabilized and to be thrown out of the party. It makes you wonder if by 2021 there will be a new PNP leader. Now leave your comments down below. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.